This is McCook's Mr. Bill. It is an honor to have you here. My take on the news internationally, nationally, and locally from McCook, Nebraska. Okay. Ukraine is the big story out there that they are pushing, that they want you to consider. And almost every news show out there is telling you that Russia is losing. They can't take Ukraine. They are failing. I guess they forget to mention that NATO has moved some troops in there under the table, and the CIA has sent some serious bad mercs in there, mercenaries. And so needless to say, those two groups alone could cause some serious trouble behind the lines, if you will, not counting that almost 2,000 RPGs, or the equivalency of the high-rated rocket, handheld rockets, taking out tanks, helicopters, and planes are out there. And we sent them, and NATO sent them. And so Russia is having a little more trouble. But personally, I hate to think of us irritating a nation with 1,500 nukes. Too much. Just saying. That's my take on that. Be that as it may, nationally, well, what's the news that would wiggle the branches more for you and I than anything else out there, theoretically, would be simply that a top executive sent a cartoon that was politically incorrect. That executive was making $10 million a year, and he got fired. A $10 million job gone from a political cartoon, or a politically incorrect cartoon. Yeah. That means if they do it to him, they'd do it to you. Have you ever sent one on an email or anything else? They might come back and haunt you. Just saying, that should worry anybody out there with that in mind. That's national. Locally, one of the things I've had and heard a number of people say is they will make comments like, well, have you got your draft notice yet? Go into the military and get shipped over to the Ukraine. Political joke, if you will. Most of them come back, whoever's been asked that, says, oh, I'm either too old, I'm too overweight, I have a family and children, they won't take me. They play that kind of game. And sooner or later, somebody had to ask me, well, did you get your draft notice? And I said they'd be pretty hard up to ask somebody 70 years old to go. But with that in mind, if I went, I'd do my very best to do what was required. If the captain said, see that hill? The enemy is up on that hill. Go take that hill. Now, I'd do it, but I'd do it differently than what he would. The first thing I'd do is I'd get a white flag. And I'd go up to the top of that hill. I'd try to have at least $1,000 with me, which over there is probably $100,000. Go up to their commander, because he's the only one of importance in the Russian hierarchy, if you will, and say, here's all this money, and we want this hill. You go take that hill over there, and we can have this hill, and nobody gets shot, and you get a whole bunch of money. You see how that works? And say, heaven forbid, they'd refuse it though. Maybe they really want that mountain. Okay, you got to find another way. Again, I would think outside the box rather than say, okay, you 1,000 men charge that hill full of machine guns. I'd say, okay, look over there, that hill. Okay, well, I'd go to the nearest town and find 100 ladies of the night and take them up on that hill. Then I'd go back up with the white flag to the enemy's hill, and I'd say, you're on the wrong hill. That's the hill with the ladies that are in the mood. And I would also pay them again, another 1,000, whatever it took, and I'd say, now you can afford those ladies of the night, so go over there and let us have this hill. No matter what it is out there, I would do my best to get it done just differently than the military. So I assume I would get kicked out of the military reasonably quick. This is McCook's Mr. Bill. You guys have a good day.